I used to lie in bed at night, watching my hands shake uncontrollably against the sheets, unable to relax enough to fall asleep. The tremors would start the moment I tried to settle down for the night, and they seemed to get worse the more I tried to calm them. It was exhausting, both physically and emotionally. I would spend hours tossing and turning, my muscles tense, my mind racing with frustration and anxiety about how tired I would be the next day. My spouse would try to help, offering to massage my hands or suggesting I take an extra dose of medication, but nothing seemed to work. The nighttime tremors were stealing my sleep, and the lack of sleep was making all my Parkinson's symptoms worse during the day. It became a vicious cycle that felt impossible to break. Then one night, out of pure desperation, I tried something so simple that I almost didn't bother because it seemed too basic to actually work. But within 20 minutes, my tremors had calmed down enough that I could finally drift off to sleep. That was 8 months ago, and this simple technique has transformed my nights, and honestly, my entire quality of life. Let me share with you what I discovered and why it works. Because if you're struggling with nighttime tremors like I was, you deserve to know that there's hope, and that the solution might be much simpler than you think. Before I explain the technique itself, I need to help you understand what's actually happening in your body when those nighttime tremors kick in. Because once you understand the why, the how makes so much more sense. Parkinson's disease affects your brain's ability to produce dopamine, which is the neurotransmitter that helps control smooth, coordinated movements. When your dopamine levels are low, your muscles don't get the proper signals to relax, and instead, they stay tense and can develop tremors. During the day, you're usually taking medication that helps replace some of that missing dopamine, so your symptoms are more controlled. But by nighttime, especially if your last dose of medication was several hours ago, those drug levels in your system are dropping. Your dopamine is running low, and your symptoms can come roaring back. This is what doctors call the wearing-off phenomenon, and it's incredibly common in people with Parkinson's, especially as the disease progresses. But here's the thing that most people don't realize. It's not just about low dopamine levels at night. There's another huge factor at play, and that factor is stress and muscle tension. When you lie down at night, you might think you're relaxing, but if you have Parkinson's, there's a good chance your muscles are actually incredibly tense without you even realizing it. This tension can trigger or worsen tremors. And here's where it gets really interesting. When you're stressed or anxious, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, which are stress hormones that actually make tremors worse. So if you're lying in bed, worrying about not being able to sleep, or frustrated about your tremors, or anxious about how tired you'll be tomorrow, you're literally creating a hormonal environment in your body that amplifies the very symptom you're trying to get rid of. Your brain is sending stress signals, your muscles are tensing up in response, and your tremors are getting worse, which makes you more stressed, which makes your muscles tense more, which makes your tremors even worse. It's a feedback loop from hell. The simple trick that changed everything for me addresses both of these issues at once. It helps calm your nervous system, reduces muscle tension, and actually seems to help extend the effectiveness of your medication a little bit longer into the evening. Are you ready for it? It's called progressive muscle relaxation, combined with deep breathing, done in a very specific way that's tailored for people with Parkinson's. I know what you might be thinking. That sounds like generic relaxation advice that you've probably heard a million times before. But stick with me here, because the way we do this for Parkinson's is different, and the results are remarkable. The key is in the details, and in understanding exactly why each step matters. Here's how it works. About 30 minutes before you want to go to sleep, you get into bed, or sit in a comfortable chair in a quiet, dimly lit room. You start by taking 3 very slow, deep breaths, breathing in through your nose for a count of 4, holding for a count of 4, and breathing out through your mouth for a count of 6. That longer exhale is crucial because it activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's natural relaxation response. It literally tells your brain that you're safe and that it's okay to calm down. Those 3 initial breaths set the stage for everything that follows. Then you begin the progressive muscle relaxation. But instead of the traditional method where you tense and then relax each muscle group, which can actually make Parkinson's tremors worse, you use a modified approach. You focus on one body part at a time, and instead of tensing it, you simply bring your awareness to it and imagine warmth and heaviness flowing into that area. You visualize the muscles softening and releasing, melting like butter on warm bread. Start with your feet. Close your eyes and bring all your attention to your feet. Notice any tension or tightness. Then, as you breathe out slowly, Imagine that tension draining away, flowing out through your toes and into the bed beneath you. Picture your feet becoming heavy and warm, sinking into the mattress. Spend about 30 seconds to a minute on your feet, then move up to your calves, then your thighs, your hips, your abdomen, your chest, your back, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your neck, your jaw, and finally, your face and scalp. The entire process takes about 15 to 20 minutes if you do it slowly and really focus on each area. The key is not to rush. This is not a race. The slower and more deliberate you are, the better it works. Now here's the Parkinson-specific modification that makes this so effective. When you get to your hands and arms, which are often where tremors are most noticeable, you add an extra step. After you've done the visualization of warmth and heaviness, you gently and slowly move your hands and fingers through their full range of motion. Open and close your hands slowly. Rotate your wrists in gentle circles. Touch each finger to your thumb one at a time. Do this very slowly and mindfully, paying attention to the sensation of movement. This serves two purposes. First, it gives your brain clear, intentional signals about movement, which can help override the involuntary tremor signals. Second, it helps release any cramping or stiffness that might be contributing to the tremors. The whole hand and arm sequence should take about 3 to 5 minutes. Don't skip this part. It's the secret sauce that makes this technique work so much better for Parkinson's than generic relaxation exercises. Before we continue, I want to hear from you. Do you struggle with tremors at night that keep you from sleeping? What time of day are your tremors usually the worst? Share your experience in the comments below because your story could help other people going through the same situation. Sometimes just knowing we're not alone in this struggle makes it a little bit easier to bear. Let me explain the science behind why this works so well. Because understanding the mechanism makes it easier to believe in the technique and to stick with it, even on nights when it feels like it's not working as quickly as you'd like. When you do slow, deep breathing with that extended exhale, you're stimulating the vagus nerve, which is like a superhighway of communication between your brain and your body. The vagus nerve is a key player in your parasympathetic nervous system, and when you activate it, it sends signals to your brain that decrease the production of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. At the same time, it increases the production of calming neurotransmitters like GABA. This creates a cascade of physiological changes. Your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure decreases slightly, your muscles receive signals to relax, your mind becomes calmer and less reactive. All of these changes create an internal environment where tremors are less likely to occur or are less severe when they do occur. The progressive muscle relaxation component works by increasing your body awareness and helping you identify and release tension that you might not even realize you're holding. People with Parkinson's often develop something called muscular rigidity, where your muscles are constantly somewhat contracted even when you think you're relaxed. This rigidity contributes to tremors, pain, and fatigue. By systematically bringing awareness to each part of your body and consciously releasing tension, you're retraining your nervous system to recognize what true relaxation feels like. Over time, with consistent practice, your body gets better at accessing that relaxed state more quickly and easily. It's like building a muscle. The more you practice relaxation, the stronger your relaxation response becomes. The specific hand and arm movements I mentioned earlier work on a neurological principle called sensory gating. When you make slow, deliberate, intentional movements, you're sending strong signals to your brain about where your limbs are in space and what they're doing. These intentional movement signals can temporarily override or reduce the involuntary tremor signals. It's not magic and it's not a cure, but it can provide meaningful temporary relief that lasts long enough for you to fall asleep. And once you're asleep, your brain and body can do the restorative work they need to do, which helps all your symptoms be more manageable the next day. Sleep is absolutely critical for people with Parkinson's, and anything that improves sleep quality is going to have ripple effects on your overall health and symptom management. Now let me walk you through some additional modifications and tips that can make this technique even more effective. First, timing matters. Don't wait until you're already in bed with tremors raging and frustration mounting to try this technique. By that point, your stress response is already fully activated, and it's going to take longer to calm down. Instead, make this part of your regular bedtime routine, something you do every single night, whether your tremors are bad or not. This consistency helps train your body to expect and respond to the relaxation cues. Think of it like Pavlov's dogs. If you do this same sequence every night before sleep, Eventually, your body will start to relax as soon as you begin the breathing exercises, before you've even gotten to the muscle relaxation part. You're creating a conditioned response that works in your favor. Second, environment matters tremendously. Make sure your bedroom is cool, dark, and quiet. Use blackout curtains if street lights or early morning sun are an issue. Consider a white noise machine or a fan if you're sensitive to sounds. Keep the temperature on the cooler side, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, because your body temperature needs to drop slightly to initiate sleep. If you're too warm, it's harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. Make sure your mattress and pillows are comfortable and supportive. If you have pain or stiffness, strategic pillow placement can make a huge difference. A pillow between your knees if you sleep on your side, or under your knees if you sleep on your back, can help keep your spine aligned and reduce tension. Third, what you do in the hour or two before bed sets the stage for how well this technique will work. Avoid caffeine after early afternoon, as we discussed in previous conversations. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours, which means if you have coffee at 3 in the afternoon, half of that caffeine is still in your system at 9 at night. Avoid heavy meals within 3 hours of bedtime, because digestion can interfere with sleep and can also affect how your evening medications are absorbed. Avoid bright screens from phones, tablets, and computers for at least an hour before bed, because the blue light suppresses melatonin production and tells your brain it's still daytime. If you must use a device, use blue light blocking glasses or turn on night mode settings. Instead of screens, spend that pre-bed hour doing calming activities like reading a physical book, listening to gentle music, doing light stretching, or talking with family members. Fourth, consider adding some complementary elements that enhance the relaxation response. Many people find that gentle ambient music, specifically designed for relaxation and sleep, can be very helpful. There are apps and YouTube channels that offer tracks with binaural beats or specific frequencies that are supposed to promote relaxation and sleep. The scientific evidence for these is mixed, but many people swear by them, and they certainly don't cause any harm. Aromatherapy is another option. Lavender essential oil has been studied fairly extensively and does seem to have genuine calming effects for many people. You can use a diffuser, put a few drops on your pillowcase, or use a lavender-scented lotion on your hands and arms as part of your bedtime routine. The scent becomes another cue that it's time to relax and sleep. Weighted blankets are another tool that some people with Parkinson's find incredibly helpful for nighttime tremors and sleep. The deep pressure stimulation from the weight of the blanket seems to have a calming effect on the nervous system and can reduce tremors and restlessness. The recommended weight is usually about 10% of your body weight. So if you weigh 150 pounds, a 15-pound blanket would be appropriate. Start with a lighter weight if you're not sure you'll like it, and make sure you can easily remove the blanket if you get too warm or need to get up during the night. Weighted blankets aren't for everyone, and they're not recommended if you have certain respiratory or circulatory issues, so check with your doctor first. Let me share what a complete bedtime routine might look like incorporating all of these elements, because seeing a concrete example makes it easier to implement this in your own life. Let's say you want to be asleep by 10:30 at night. At 8:30, you take your evening dose of Parkinson's medication if you have one. Between 8:30 and 9, you have a light snack if you're hungry, something like a banana or a small handful of nuts, and you finish any last tasks that need to be done before bed. At 9 o'clock, you start winding down. You dim the lights in your house, you turn off the television and put away your phone. You might do some gentle stretching or take a warm shower or bath. Warm water helps relax muscles, and the drop in body temperature after you get out actually promotes sleepiness. At 9:30, you're in your bedroom in comfortable pajamas. You've set the temperature, made sure the room is dark and quiet, maybe turned on your white noise machine or soft music. You get into bed or sit in a comfortable chair. At 9:35, you begin the breathing exercises. 3 slow, deep breaths with that extended exhale. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 6. Already you can feel your body starting to shift out of the day's stress and into a calmer state. Then you begin the progressive muscle relaxation, starting with your feet and working your way up your body. You spend about 15 minutes going through each body part slowly and thoroughly, really taking the time to notice tension and visualize it releasing. When you get to your hands and arms, you add those slow, mindful movements we talked about. By the time you finish around 9:55, your body feels heavy and relaxed. Your tremors have calmed significantly, and your mind has quieted down. You turn off the music if you had it playing, settle into your preferred sleeping position, and allow yourself to drift off. If you don't fall asleep right away, that's okay. Just continue to breathe slowly and deeply, and avoid getting frustrated or anxious about not sleeping yet. Often, sleep comes when we stop trying so hard to make it happen. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This technique does not work instantly for everyone, and it does not eliminate tremors 100% for everyone. Some nights will be better than others. When you first start doing this, it might take longer to see results because your body is still learning the pattern. You might find that on particularly stressful days or when your Parkinson's symptoms are flaring for other reasons, the tremors are more resistant to calming down. That's normal, and it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong or that the technique doesn't work for you. It just means you might need to be patient and persistent. What I found in my own experience and what I've heard from others in my Parkinson's support group who've tried this is that it takes about a week of consistent practice to really start seeing reliable results. The first few nights, you might only get modest improvement. But by the end of the first week, most people notice a significant difference in how quickly they can calm their tremors and fall asleep. One common challenge people run into is that their mind wanders during the relaxation exercise, and they lose focus on what they're supposed to be doing. This is completely normal, especially if you're new to any kind of meditation or relaxation practice. When you notice your mind has wandered off into thoughts about tomorrow's appointments or worries about your health or random memories from 20 years ago, just gently guide your attention back to your breath and to the body part you're focusing on. Don't judge yourself or get frustrated. Mind wandering is what minds do. The practice is in noticing it and returning to the present moment. Over time, you'll get better at maintaining focus, and even the moments of mind wandering will become less frequent and less distracting. Another challenge is dealing with restless legs or other movement urges that can accompany Parkinson's, especially at night. Restless leg syndrome is actually quite common in people with Parkinson's, and it can make relaxation exercises feel nearly impossible. If you have this issue, talk to your doctor about it because there are medications that can help. In the meantime, you might find that incorporating some gentle leg stretches into your bedtime routine before you start the breathing exercises can help. Calf stretches, hamstring stretches, and ankle rotations can all reduce that restless feeling. Some people find that a warm compress on their legs or gentle massage helps. Magnesium supplements may also help with restless legs, though you should check with your doctor before starting any new supplement. Let's talk about the role of medication timing in all of this, because it's an important piece of the puzzle. If your nighttime tremors are primarily caused by your medication wearing off, then no amount of relaxation technique is going to fully eliminate them, though it can still help reduce their severity. You might need to work with your neurologist to adjust your medication schedule or add an evening dose. Some people do well with a small dose of long-acting levodopa at bedtime to help maintain medication levels through the night. Others might benefit from taking their last dose of regular levodopa a little later in the evening, so it's still working when they're trying to fall asleep. These are decisions that need to be made with medical guidance based on your specific medication regimen and symptom pattern. But here's the important thing to understand. Even if medication adjustment is part of the solution, the relaxation technique I've described still plays a crucial role because it addresses the stress and tension component that makes tremors worse. Medication and relaxation work together synergistically to give you better results than either one alone. I also want to mention that this same technique can be used during the day if you experience tremors in stressful situations or if you have off periods when your medication isn't working as well. Obviously, you can't lie down and go through a 20-minute relaxation routine in the middle of your workday or when you're out running errands, but you can do a mini version, take a bathroom break, or step outside for a few minutes. Do those 3 slow, deep breaths with the extended exhale. Bring your awareness to where you're holding tension, usually in your shoulders, jaw, and hands, and consciously release it. Do a few of those slow, mindful hand movements. This abbreviated version only takes 2 or 3 minutes, but it can provide meaningful relief and help you get through challenging moments with more grace and less frustration. Let me share a story from someone in my support group that illustrates how powerful this technique can be when combined with other good sleep hygiene practices. His name is Robert, and he's 72 years old and has had Parkinson's for about 6 years. His nighttime tremors had gotten so bad that he was only sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night, and he was absolutely miserable. He was exhausted all day. His daytime symptoms were worse because of the lack of sleep, and he was becoming depressed and anxious about the whole situation. His doctor had tried adjusting his medications multiple times, but nothing seemed to help the nighttime tremors. Robert was ready to start taking sleeping pills, which he really didn't want to do because they can have side effects and can be risky for older adults, especially those with balance problems. Then Robert heard about this progressive muscle relaxation technique at one of our support group meetings. He was skeptical, to be honest. He'd never been into meditation or anything like that, and he thought it sounded like hippie nonsense. His words, not mine. But he was desperate enough to try anything. He committed to doing it every single night for 2 weeks to give it a fair shot. The first 3 nights, he didn't notice much difference. His tremors still kept him awake for hours, but he kept at it. By night 4 and 5, he started to notice that even though the tremors were still there, they weren't bothering him quite as much because he was more relaxed overall. By the end of the first week, he was falling asleep about 30 minutes faster than before. By the end of 2 weeks, he was consistently sleeping 6 to 7 hours a night, which was a dramatic improvement from where he'd started. His nighttime tremors hadn't disappeared completely, but they had decreased significantly, and more importantly, they were no longer preventing him from sleeping. 3 months later, Robert reports that this has become a non-negotiable part of his nightly routine. He says he actually looks forward to it now, because it's a peaceful, calming time that helps him transition from the busyness and stress of the day into rest mode. His wife has noticed that he's less irritable, more energetic, and his thinking seems sharper because he's finally getting adequate sleep. His neurologist was so impressed with the improvement that she now recommends this technique to all her Parkinson's patients who struggle with sleep issues. Robert's story is not unique. I've heard similar accounts from multiple people who've tried this approach and stuck with it long enough to see results. Now let's address some practical questions about implementation. What if you share a bed with a partner and you're worried about disturbing them with this routine? This is a valid concern. The good news is that the breathing and muscle relaxation can be done completely silently. Your partner might not even notice you're doing it. The hand and arm movements are gentle and shouldn't cause much bed movement. If you're concerned, you can explain to your partner what you're doing and why, and ask for their support. Most partners are very willing to accommodate something that's going to help you sleep better, which ultimately means they'll sleep better too. If you really feel self-conscious about doing it in bed with your partner there, you could do the routine in a comfortable chair in your bedroom or in another quiet room, and then get into bed once you're relaxed and drowsy. What if you have cognitive changes from Parkinson's that make it hard to remember the sequence or to stay focused? This is a real challenge for some people, especially those in later stages of the disease. In this case, guided audio recordings can be incredibly helpful. There are many apps and YouTube videos that provide guided progressive muscle relaxation specifically designed for sleep. You can play one of these recordings through your phone or a small speaker and just follow along with the instructions. This takes the burden of remembering off of you and provides structure and pacing. Look for recordings that are specifically designed for people with Parkinson's or other movement disorders if you can find them, as they'll include appropriate modifications. If you can't find Parkinson's-specific recordings, look for gentle guided relaxation for sleep, and it will probably work just fine. What if you take other medications at bedtime and you're worried about interactions or timing issues? The beauty of this technique is that it's completely non-pharmacological. It doesn't interact with any medications. It doesn't have side effects. It doesn't cost anything. It's just using your own body's natural relaxation mechanisms. You can do it regardless of what medications you take or when you take them. In fact, it might actually help your medications work better because reducing stress and tension can improve overall symptom control. If you take medications that make you drowsy, like some sleeping pills or anti-anxiety medications, you might find that this technique works even better because you've got both the pharmacological and the behavioral approaches working together.
What about sleep apnea, which is common in people with Parkinson's? If you have sleep apnea and you're using a CPAP machine, you can still absolutely do this technique. Just make sure you have your mask on and everything is comfortable before you start. The breathing pattern might need to be slightly modified to work with the CPAP, but the basic principle of slow, deep breathing still applies. The muscle relaxation component doesn't change at all.
If you haven't been tested for sleep apnea but you snore loudly, wake up gasping for air, or wake up feeling unrefreshed despite sleeping for adequate hours, talk to your doctor about getting a sleep study. Untreated sleep apnea makes everything worse, including Parkinson's symptoms, cognitive function, and cardiovascular health. Let's talk about some additional sleep strategies that complement the progressive muscle relaxation technique and create a comprehensive approach to better sleep with Parkinson's. First, try to maintain a consistent sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your body's circadian rhythm and makes it easier to fall asleep at the desired time. If you need to nap during the day, keep it short, no more than 20 to 30 minutes, and do it before 3 in the afternoon so it doesn't interfere with nighttime sleep. Second, get exposure to bright light, preferably natural sunlight, early in the day. This helps set your circadian rhythm and promotes alertness during the day and sleepiness at night. Third, regular exercise earlier in the day can improve sleep quality, but avoid vigorous exercise within 3 hours of bedtime as it can be stimulating. Fourth, be careful with fluids in the evening. You want to stay hydrated, but if you drink a lot of water right before bed, you'll be waking up multiple times to use the bathroom, which disrupts sleep and can make it hard to fall back asleep. Try to get most of your fluid intake during the earlier parts of the day and taper off in the evening. If you wake up in the middle of the night and can't fall back asleep within 20 minutes, get out of bed and do a quiet, non-stimulating activity in dim light until you feel drowsy again. Don't lie in bed tossing and turning for hours, because your brain starts to associate the bed with wakefulness and frustration rather than sleep. Reading a boring book, listening to calm music, or doing some gentle stretches in another room can help. Once you feel sleepy, go back to bed and try again. One more crucial point about sleep and Parkinson's that doesn't get talked about enough. Many people with Parkinson's experience something called REM sleep behavior disorder, where you physically act out your dreams, sometimes violently, because the normal muscle paralysis that occurs during REM sleep doesn't happen properly. This can be dangerous for you and for your bed partner. If you or your partner notice this happening, it's really important to tell your doctor because there are medications that can help. In the meantime, make your sleep environment safer by removing sharp objects from the nightstand, padding the corners of furniture, and potentially having your partner sleep in a separate bed if the movements are severe. REM sleep behavior disorder can actually appear years before motor symptoms of Parkinson's develop. So some people have a long history of this before they even get diagnosed. It's worth mentioning because safety during sleep is just as important as the quality and quantity of sleep. Before we wrap up, I want to give you a realistic expectation of what success looks like with this nighttime tremor management technique. Success doesn't mean your tremors completely disappear every night. Success doesn't mean you fall asleep in 5 minutes every single night. Success means that more nights than not, you're able to calm your tremors enough to feel comfortable and relaxed. Success means you fall asleep in a reasonable amount of time, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, instead of 2 or 3 hours. Success means you wake up feeling more rested than you did before you started using this technique. Success means you have a tool you can rely on that gives you some sense of control over symptoms that often feel completely uncontrollable. That sense of agency and self-efficacy is enormously valuable for your mental health and overall well-being. This technique is not going to cure your Parkinson's. It's not going to stop disease progression. It's not going to eliminate all your symptoms, but it can give you better sleep, and better sleep leads to better days. Better days mean better quality of life, more energy to do the things you enjoy, better mood, sharper thinking, and more resilience to handle the challenges that Parkinson's throws at you. That's worth the 15 or 20 minutes of effort each night. That's worth the patience it takes to learn and refine the technique. That's worth pushing through the initial skepticism and giving it a real try. If this video brought valuable information to you, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications of new content. We share practical, evidence-based strategies every week to help you live better with Parkinson's. Our community is made up of people who, just like you, are seeking knowledge and support on this journey. In the comments, I'd love to hear about your experience if you try this technique. How long did it take to see results? What modifications did you make to adapt it to your needs? What other sleep strategies have you found helpful? Your insights could be exactly what someone else needs to hear to give them hope and direction. Remember, you're not alone in this struggle with nighttime tremors and sleep problems. Thousands of people with Parkinson's face these same challenges every night. By sharing what works and supporting each other, we all get a little bit stronger and a little bit more capable of living well despite this disease. Take care of yourself, be patient with the process, and know that better sleep is possible.